o'clock, we're call meeting to order. Roll call, we've got everybody here this evening. Additions to the agenda, we have number 18 under proud of, number 6 and 7 under business, and number 2 under personnel.
The only other note I would make is we'll finish up the board meeting and then we'll go into our closed session at the end of the night.
Okay. With those additions, I entertain a motion to adopt. Yep. Second by Gretchen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. District 741 is proud of FFA Dairy Team for the first place finish in the region and qualifying for state. Team members include Tyler Evelyn, grade 11, Sabrina Lay, grade 11, Maria Molitor, grade 12, Abby Molitor, grade 10, and John Frenchik, grade 11. FFA Carla Romanchenko, grade 9, and Kyle Willenbrink, grade 9, for the 4th and 6th place finish respectively in dairy handling and qualifying for state. FFA alumni for donating a trailer to our district. Paynesville elementary students and staff for collecting approximately 1,744 food items and $2,110.69 from Paynesville Community Service Center. Senior Josh Bungham and Dan Widener for earning basketball honorable mention in West Central North. Paynesville area middle school students and staff for collecting 275 items of food and $1,150 from Paynesville Community Service Center. Senior Donovan Laura for receiving the Lions Youth Service Award for the month of March. Senior Josh Bungham for being selected to play in the All-State football game in June. Andrea Schlungen, grade 12, for earning all conference honors in girls basketball in West Central Conference South. Andrea Schlungen, grade 12, for being selected to the 2012 Girls All Area Basketball Third Team, sponsored by the West Central Tribune. Kayla Schaefer, grade 9, for earning honorable mention in girls basketball in West Central Conference South. Brittany Hamish, grade 12, for earning academic all-state in girls basketball. Junior Natasha Mead for being named Paynesville Girls Stater for the 2012-13 school year. Junior Erica Schlangen for being named Paynesville Girls Stater alternate for the 12-13 school year. Junior Luke Orbeck for being named Paynesville Boys Stater for the 2012-13 school year. Junior Tyler Evelyn for being named Paynesville Boys Stater alternate for the 12-13 school year. Following speech students for their placement in subsections and advancing to sections: Matt Anderson, grade 12, first place storytelling. Sabrina Lay, grade 10, first place original oratory. Rachel McLeod, grade 11, second place drama. Kelly Anderson, grade 10, first place humorous. Alex Whitcomb, grade 11, second place humorous. Dave Hoekstra, grade 9, fifth place storytelling. And Emma Mulgard, grade 10, sixth place poetry.
Hey Dave, the coach told me today that Amelia Ballin, I think she's in grade 11, also took first place in prose.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to add her on the 17th so you don't have to do that one again?
I'm sure we would.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
That's good. So, that was Amelia Malling.
Amelia Ballin, I think she's grade 11 and was in prose, she took first place too.
Okay. Easy as well. Thank you. And FFA Greenham team members: Tanner Schaefer, grade 9, John Schaefer, grade 9, Brad Butch, grade 9, Anthony Whitland, grade 9, and Kyle Willenbridge, grade 9, for the first place finish and advancing to state. Okay, public comment. Bruce.
Just a couple of things. It was a couple months ago when we had this PMA here doing forecasts. Well, since that time, now we have some budget cuts that you're proposing. We also have some contracts that have been settled. I'm just curious if we can go back and get another forecast. There's also some information that the state funding is possibly changing in this next year, and there's some increase in that funding. And my curiosity is, if we adjust that forecast, obviously you're gonna work on budgets, but it seems like when we saw that presentation, it seemed like it could be pretty realistic. You also know exactly where you wanna go with the referendum. Just an idea. Second thing is, I don't know if there's a formula or whatever, but one of the things you have in this community is you have large farms. We have some really large businesses that are commonly more than what you have proposed in your numbers. And it would seem to me maybe the county or somebody has a formula, so somebody could take their tax value in and say it was $3 million, put it in there and have an idea of what that proposed referendum would cost them. That's really all that I have.
Yeah, I think we had contacted Eller and Associates about getting that on that chart, about some larger dollar figures for commercial and ag properties. So when we send out some data regarding the referendum, some of these larger dollar figures can be on there.
Well, I think maybe, yeah, I have no idea what that thing has to do with,
But
but it's gotta be big.
I talked to Jody last week, and we're still waiting for the county to finish up their numbers. And once that's done, then she's gonna do all those informational sheets we had last time with the ag, the commercial, everything, and we bumped those dollar amounts up, so we'll have accurate numbers, what will happen on those, so we will have that all. We're also working on next year's budget as well, so we will be putting all that stuff back into the PDA thing, so we're working on those things.
And didn't Jody say that time we met with her, that if someone has, like, their individual situation could be looked at, she has the ability to do that?
She gives her telephone number, so if somebody has an individual question, they're.
Just send it to her, 'cause she's got the program to plug it into and gets that answer for them.
That's part of their services.
Right.
So do we promote that when we start working with the promotion of the referendum, that people could call her?
Yep.
Thanks, Bruce. Okay, moving on, we need to approve or correct the minutes from March 27, 2012 board meeting. Motion by Bob. Second by Lou. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On the consent agenda, we have two items. I don't think anybody has any questions or would like those items pulled for discussion.
First one is something that we do every year, just basically giving the authority to the elementary principal to do our title programs for the upcoming school year. And then the second one is also just approving the names of the list that we did today. These are our proposed graduates, so they still need to meet all the requirements to graduate in June. This is the proposed list that we have.
Motion by Deb. Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number one under business, review first reading of crisis management policy 806.
Should be exhibit B in your packet. There were some legislative changes last year, and Donnie has taken this one on and been working with Dick Schultz, who is our health and safety. He's put this together for us, and I'll let Donnie kind of walk through it. It's just a first read. I know you guys got it in your packet probably over the weekend, and Easter weekend, probably didn't have a lot of time. I know it's some good reading, but just a first read tonight. I'll let Donnie go ahead and just kind of walk through it a little bit.
Okay. The major changes in it, on the first and second page, we have the school emergency response team, and the second page, school response team functions. We haven't had that in there for specific, like incident commander, operations chief, and stuff like that. We've never had that quite specified in our old policy. The emergency phone numbers are the same. Most of the bomb threats and all the programs, I shouldn't say programs, hazardous material demonstrations are all the same. It's reworded to be more accurate, or I don't want to say finer points, not so wordy, that people can actually look at it and understand it quick if they have to go through it. We did add maps. I have maps that show the fire hydrants, exits, main gas shut off, main electrical shut off. We are told by the fire marshal is gonna be out Thursday. He's gonna check our buildings and stuff, but we have to be more building specific on where we're gonna send our kids So in the back, we have two churches. We've got emergency building use agreements through, where if we need to evacuate, we can evacuate to either church. I think the only thing you don't have in yours is we also have another map that show all the door numbers. I didn't get that in yours. Actually, it was in yours, but the principals had that in theirs. Not sure, any questions? I mean, we've been working with the principals and the health and safety committee, and we've got it this far, like I said, with Dick Schultz. And this actually is a model from Sartell Schools, which the fire marshal actually passed. It was one of the few in the area that he has passed so far. So we're hoping when he comes out Thursday, he takes a look at it, and he'll go through.
Will he take a look at it on Thursday down here? We can show it to him, and then if we're missing anything or
Right.
something that needs to be beefed up or was left out, he'd let us know before the board approves it.
Right.
Okay. I think we're pretty lucky he's coming out next Thursday or this Thursday.
This Thursday, yeah. So if we do have to add anything, I don't foresee too much change.
Does MSBA have a model policy of this room?
Yes, they do. They do, and that's one that's currently adopted, and Donnie's been working with Dick since, September?
Yeah.
And the principals of the committee, and it looks different, it doesn't look like an MSBA policy, but this is what Dick had recommended, and like Donnie said, it was a model policy adopted by Sartell, which the fire marshal approved, so, but I did give Donnie a copy of the MSBA model policy, to make sure that everything that's in MSBA is included in here, just looks, so.
And we have gone through it, I have that copy here too, and it's pretty much everything we have in ours in here. What, for more site specific than ours, which the fire marshal needs.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? So we'll bring it back.
Yep, we'll bring it back at the next meeting for board approval, and hopefully, when the fire marshal's out here on Thursday, we'll have a chance to take a look,
Yep.
if we can get his blessing, then we know we've got a good policy in place.
Okay, moving on to number 2, review and consider approval of memorandum of understanding with education, Minnesota Paynesville area.
Okay, it should be exhibit C in your packet. I had Kevin draw this up for us at our last board meeting. Bob had brought to our attention that we did not have the ninth grade softball and baseball in master contract. Did go back in the records there, it was back in 2008, 2009 when we formed that athletic committee and went through the seasons, and basically one of their biggest tasks was to determine how many coaches are going to need. We have enough for a ninth grade team, we have enough for maybe 3 eighth grade coaches or 2, or whatever that case may be. And we have been utilizing ninth grade softball and baseball, but for some reason we never got into the master contract on the oversight. So basically what this master, or this MOU does is it puts ninth grade softball and baseball in the master contract, and then it will be the next negotiations. The MOU will come off, that will go right in there. I also handed out another little sheet that, it's not an exhibit, I just put this together. Basically, if you see an asterisk by it, by one of the categories there, that just means it's a year-long activity. We pay that in January, and in June, it's a year-long activity. All of coaching ones like basketball, football, wrestling, things like that, they can choose to get paid halfway through the season, at the end of the season, or just at the end of the season. If it's in italics, it's in the master contract, but it's not active, we're not utilizing those. So this is a better snapshot of what is currently going on. There are a lot of things in here that are inactive. They're in the master contract, but they're not in there.
And I understand why you can't take them out.
Yeah, and they have no problem putting things in there.
No.
I shouldn't say that. But the main thing is that it's in there, and it is in group 3, which all the other ninth grade ones are in there, so.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll so move.
Okay, motion by Bob,
Second.
and second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, review and consider approval of the responsible use agreement, policy 524.
This is the second reading, I can't remember, I think it was Exhibit D at our last meeting. The technology committee did meet one more time in between our last board meeting. They did recommend one change, and the one change is, still policy 524, it was acceptable use policy. Their recommendation is to call it the responsible use policy, which is acceptable. And that is the only change that came out of our technology committee. They thought that had more of a, more positive, responsible use versus acceptable. So that was the only change that has been brought to mind. I'll open up for any questions for Dave or I, or that's on the committee here too.
I make a recommendation, we approve the responsible use agreement.
Okay, motion by Dave. Second by Gretchen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, review and consider approval of computer purchase and lease agreement.
It's Exhibit D in your packet. I put together a little spreadsheet. Jim inadvertently gave out the wrong specs, so we gave local bidder Quantum another opportunity to go ahead and bid on the computers. And I received a letter last week, actually Wednesday or Thursday. He withdrew his bid. So basically, we have 2 bids for the computers, one being HP, the other was Dell. HP was $696 per computer, Dell was $899. You can see the totals over there, and then the 3-year lease, we have 2 bids on that, one from HP and one from American Capital. Our technology committee did meet last week and did recommend approval of HP for the computers and American Capital for the lease. We make 3 payments and then we get to buy the next one for $1.
Okay, motion by Deb.
Second.
Second by Lou. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 5, we're going to move to the end of the meeting, so we'll go to number 6, which is to review and consider approval of a high school choir trip to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, from November 8th through 18th through 25, 2012. And we've got Cheryl here to talk about that.
Yes, we just finished sending in a DVD. We need to audition every time we go to Disney World. So there was a chance that they wouldn't have accepted us, but I got a call on Friday. We've been accepted to perform on Friday, November 23rd, which is the first performance of the candlelight procession that goes every day from Thanksgiving through New Year's, or the day after Thanksgiving through New Year's. So they'd be performing the very first performance of the candlelight. We'd be leaving at midnight on Sunday night, Monday morning, and then getting back the following Sunday evening. I gave you a tentative itinerary on the back of your letter there. I always try to miss as little school and as little sports practices as possible, and this is a very good time to try to do that over Thanksgiving break, especially with the new conference schedule. I think we'll be missing at most 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, because Wednesday it's just conferences, and Thursday and Friday are off. So for a week trip, I think that's pretty good to miss 2 days of class.
Great planning, Cheryl.
And you can see the tentative things on the itinerary. The students that have gone in 2000, 2004, and 2008 have come back with an experience that they'll never forget, and it's very worthwhile. And I'm hoping that you'll approve us going again in November, so that we can get started on finalizing plans.
How many students are you expecting?
Excuse me?
Students, how many kids? are you expecting?
I have about 91 at this point signed up for choir next year. I'm thinking probably around 65 or 70 would think of going. But I have to wait until I wanted to get approved by you first before I gave them a letter and had them
last year you demonstrated?
2008.
2008. Same, pretty much.
Pretty much the same, yeah. They get to visit all 4 parks, 1 day for each park. See the ocean.
My daughter was on that trip. Great.
The performance with the Disney Orchestra and all the voices up there, that's usually their highlight. Even with all the other things and visiting the parks, that's their highlight, is performing with the orchestra.
I also got to go as a parent chaperone, and it was unbelievable experience.
Okay. Deb? Second. Gretchen? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Number 7, review and consider approval of 2 stops in our school bus routes where we will not be using the 8-way light system and stop sign.
I had a conversation with Phyllis today about, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. And what brought this up, you might have remember seeing this in the past, at the beginning of the year, there's that house on Highway 55 where they don't use their 8-way light systems and stop sign. And strictly for safety purposes, but we haven't had a family living in there for the last couple of years. We just had a family move in there, so that's what brought this up. She faxed over this letter, she'll bring over one with letterhead and a signed one for us, but she's recommending that we do not use the 8-way light system and stop sign and the Highway 55, and then the one on Minnie Street, that's been going on all year, but she thought as long as I'm putting that in there, she wanted to get the board's blessing in that little parking lot down by the credit union. We've done this in the past, strictly for the safety of kids. I recommend for its approval.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mark.
Mark or
Yep.
One of us.
Okay, and then second by Bob. Second by Lou.
It's hard to see.
Sometimes
Hear each other in this setup.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On personnel, number 1, review and consider a resolution proposing to place one staff on unrequested leave of absence.
It's exhibit E in your packet. This is the first step in the process. First, we have to propose placing staff member on ULA. At the next meeting, we will have another resolution placing the staff member on ULA, and then we'll also have another motion bringing that staff member back. We did the math on that. This was that budget reduction is an hour and a half, basically due to financial limitations and enrollment. We're looking at bringing the person back at 0.89. So it's a reduction from 1.0 FTE to 0.89 FTE. Prep time and stuff like that. So this is just the first step in that process. Board approves this, I will deliver the letter tomorrow. Staff member at 14 days is requesting a and we go from there.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, motion by Dave. Second by Mark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
Roll call.
Oh, is it roll call? Call the roll.
Bob,
Aye.
Dave Kearns,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Deb, Dave Johnson,
Aye.
and Lou.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, number 2, on personnel, review and consider approval of resignation of Mark Peltz, van driver, effective June 7, 2012.
Received his letter today. He is going to finish out the year for us. He'll be resigning from his position.
So moved. Motion by Lou, and second by Deb. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Okay, on to information reports, Lori.
Okay, as you know, we are entering April, which is our testing month, and I wanted to share some information because testing has been a little bit different. If you remember my last report, I said we kind of started the math testing. With Don's help, we were able to put some data together just so that you could see where our school is at right now as far as math. Keep in mind, when students tested this year, we started testing them at the end of February, our 7th and 8th graders, which was about a month and a half prior to when they were tested last year. So when we're comparing scores, you're comparing them having a month and a half less curriculum taught. And as they retake the test, they have 3 opportunities to take the test. We get closer to, at the same time, where they've had the same amount of instruction. So as you look at this, you can look at it 2 ways. One, if you want to look at student improvement, and that's what we use as far as looking at our curriculum and the alignment and being able to use the test data to help students. Where do we need more work on? What do we need to review? Those types of things. If you would look at grade 5 on the very first box of data, that's 2010, 2011, you'll see the percentage of the MCA3 math score for grade 5. You would compare that to the third box, grade 6, and you'll see the change in the percent of how the class did. Those are the same students testing the next year. And then if you would take grade 6, you compare that to grade 7, and you'll see quite a large jump at that point. And then grade 8, or grade 7 comparing to grade 8, you don't see quite as much of a jump, but at the same time, these were tested, or actually you see a large jump there too. Grade 7, you look at grade 8. You'll see 58%, for example, on grade 7, and they jump at grade 8 with 2 testings under the belt to 72%. That's meeting or exceeding the state standard. So you'll see that they're progressing, and we still have a whole nother round of testing to do for our 7th and 8th graders. 6th graders just tested last week for their 2nd time. That data isn't in here, but you'll see how, things, we're doing very well at this point, so I'm encouraged to see how we'll do once we take our 3rd and final test for our math scores. The second sheet that I gave you, the one that says Dear Parents, we did send this out after the first round. I think you got this one, didn't you? It was a letter that we sent out to all parents talking about the Learning Point Navigator when we did our first round of testing and the students got their scores, so that they can actually go online and help students at home. We also had one of our faculty, Jenica Rindall, step forward and volunteered her time to open up the lab after school to allow students to come in if they wanted to and get help, or parents and students to come in. And we've had some students take us up on that on Tuesdays. So that's something that's going on that it's been utilized. Teachers have also just utilized the program in classes. So I thought that was a real positive. The next thing that I gave you was the schedule. This is looking at what our current schedule is. That's with the cuts of the 6-hour classes from some of our staff, as well as some of the other reductions. I think it was Bob, you asked, can you give me numbers? In classes, those are in a perfect world if everybody's schedule works. That would be the total registration number divided by the number of sections. So for example, English 1, if they have 68 kids, or 67 kids in the class, that's how many registered for English 1. We have 3 sections. That would be just divided by 3. So in a perfect world, we do have lots of singletons, meaning that we only offer a class once, so we hope that we have it aligned. Jackie with the help of Jackie, myself, and our staff, I think we have it aligned so most kids' sequence will work. They may have to make some choices between electives. We try to do the best that we can with the number of sections that we have. You will see a lot of the lab or the CTE classes do have fewer in them. Part of that is a safety piece. I don't schedule classes at this point if we have less than 10 registered. Those numbers will fluctuate. We have about 40 kids that are signed up for classes that we did not offer. For example, physics had 6 kids signed up for it, not enough to offer the class, but they will have to fill in somewhere within some of the other electives as well.
Or this was as of the 11th.
Yeah, well, that's actually tomorrow because we had 2 revisions today, so Connie, so we didn't get it mixed up with the revision we did at 8 o'clock this
Possible
morning.
changes though will
Yeah.
occur.
So, I mean, the numbers in classes will change as kids, you know, if they can't take this and they will take
Yep.
this. Deb, do you have a question?
Yeah, this is great to me because there's so many classes, kids, I'm trying, like, why are there classes that don't have any numbers on it?
Oh, that's middle school. Middle school is generic numbers. We use the computer to put those in, and because we have basically anywhere from 75 to 85 kids in middle school, that would be 3 sections, because that's between 25 and 30 kids in a section. So we just make 3 sections. All those kids have to take the same classes. So I didn't bother to put those on there just because it's more numbers.
We have 51 peer mentors.
We do have 51 students going out to peer mentor between the elementary and our middle school. And those students do have to be getting a C or better grade point average, and be, attendance has to be very good in order to be placed, and then they are graded, et cetera, by their mentor teacher. But we have nothing but good things that come back from our mentor program, and I think those kids learn a lot too, about community service and responsibility and that part. So, and I do realize it's great, but if you have questions, you can certainly call me, or I can sit down with you after the meeting, just, but I thought it gives you a chance, if you are, you are interested in the total registration numbers as far as classes we didn't offer and what numbers were, I have that available too, if you would like that. And we did start with this. Started with the juniors today, gave it out, so probably those are, or the juniors today, those are the ones that I become most concerned with, because we want seniors to all get their classes. So if there is a change, it will happen within the next 3 days. If I run into an issue in the schedule or not being able to get something to fit, I'll know that very soon. The other thing I would like you to take note is up above, you'll see first hour, second hour, and then you'll see an advisor time. This is something that we continue to hear about. We need to connect with our students. We need time to help mentor our students. Our students need time to do some of those extra things, like they need to run and go talk to Mr. Heimerman for this, or we need a tractor day picture for this, or students want to hear the bulletin and want to make sure that they have time to do that. So the staff and I kind of put our heads together and said, other schools are using what we call an advisor time. And it's a time in the day where they will go see their advisors, because right now sometimes our advisors don't see their students except when they're registering at the high school level. And so that advisor time is they will go to their advisors' rooms. Couple expectations will be set up for that time. Is one, the bulletin will be read. Those advisor teachers are expected to go through each student's grades in each of their classes at least twice a week. If a student is struggling or not turning in work, et cetera, to put together an academic plan and to check with that student more often. It would also be a time if a student needs to get something done in the building, or get pulled as a group for a picture, so you're not disrupting another class going on and pulling so often just sporadically from other classes, because it's really hard to teach a class when you have, a third of the class gone because they're getting a picture taken, say, for senior honors, those types of things. So we did look at pulling a minute from some of the different passing times and to create our 12-minute or 10-minute block of time there and to see how that works. And I believe it will be very advantageous to our students. My one concern is if we might need more time, and if that is the case, then I would possibly come with a proposal to maybe adding on 5 minutes towards school day, or, I don't know, or dropping down. I hate to drop a class below, our classes end up being 50 minutes. They were at 53 minutes this year, so we did drop a little, they went from 53 to 52 minutes this year. So right now they're gonna go from 50 to 51 minutes with this current schedule. So we dropped a little bit of time from classes and a couple of passing times to create this 10-minute block. So we're going to, with your blessing, try it, see what is working and what doesn't work. Another idea was to do it once a week and do it maybe for a 30-minute block and shorten the whole day's schedule. That kind of runs into problems because we share so many staff with the elementary, and when you start to try to manipulate and change that schedule, on a periodic basis, that gets more difficult. So, any questions or things? All right, thank you very much.
Dave,
All right, our K-5 Communications Curriculum Committee has been meeting since, I think, December, and we've done we've done some curriculum mapping, and we've done some evaluations of some reading series, and we narrowed it down to 2, and on Monday when we had our in-service yesterday, we had representatives from those 2 companies come in and meet with staff for about an hour and a half each. And so we're in the process in the next couple of weeks of deciding which direction we want to go, and then we'll start looking at getting things ordered and getting teachers in service so that we can begin next year with an updated communications curriculum. So we're really excited about that. We're looking at K-5 as a whole, and we haven't been able to do that in the past. And so staff is really excited about that, and so we'll have that decision made within the next couple of weeks and go from there. We also are beginning our second round of MCA testing. 4th grade is going to be testing tomorrow and Thursday, and then the next week another grade level. I think it's 3rd grade, and then the next week it's 5th grade. And so we're moving into that, and hopefully we'll see some good improvement. I thought we did very well. I thought we did very well, considering that we did take it, a month and a half to 2 months early. And so we'll be moving on to that next week, the 17th and 18th. And we also have our reading MCAs, which is the paper pencil test, and so we'll be working on that. And then 5th grade will be taking the science in early May. The other thing we have, on next Friday, on April 20th, we have the Science Museum coming in for the day, and they'll be putting on different programs for the elementary students on dinosaurs and climate change and things like that. So we're pretty excited about that. Our March food drive was a success. Students just very proud of the way that they come together and raise funds and bring all the food in. It was really fun to see that every week, and so just very proud of that and proud of the community for helping out with that too. Any questions for me?
Thanks, Dave. Matt, yeah.
We're actively planning our summer program now. A couple new community building events that we're planning are movies under the stars at Gazebo Park this summer. We do the concert series, but we're gonna do a couple movies. We're gonna do Cars 2 in August with a classic car cruise in. Looking at Charlotte's Web in September with the Farmers Market Day and Petting Zoo. So just try to get some things happening downtown too, making Paynesville a destination. Two of our summer ball programs are major ones, fast pitch, softball, and Little League already start next week. Our adult ed center is getting quite a bit of use already with our adult basic ed and our adult community ed classes and computer classes. And our we have strong performance this winter in our fitness center as far as memberships. So, any questions? Thank you.
Activities coordinator report.
We're getting ready for the spring as far as competitions outside. This past Friday, we got a head start by about 2 months on last year's athletic field maintenance by Total Lawn Care was here and sprayed all the athletic fields. We should be on schedule for dugouts for our JV baseball field, and actually because of some in-kind labor, we're probably going to be able to get the JV dugouts for baseball and softball this year. And then one more thing, as far as the grounds, the sprinkler system, it looks like for the past 2 years when we've been replacing heads, we've been going with some stainless steel ones that have some warranty, and they're like $2 a head cheap, more expensive than the plastic ones, but the plastic ones were not lasting year after year. I think we're gonna, and I don't know for sure, so maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna come in a lot less in the maintenance than we have every single year. So perhaps we'll see if we can get a spigot put on the softball fields, because we lose an awful lot of agar line when they drag it and it's windy if we don't keep moisture on there. But we might be able to do that. And these upgrades are due that the capital committee did put some more money in for field maintenance, so appreciate that. Hopefully we can get them looking good. You saw in the Prados, we had a great subsection for our speech team. Their section is this Saturday in Malacca. April's FFA month, so there's a lot of FFA activities in addition to the state competitions. This couple weeks ago, now I was at the state AD convention, and one of the best sessions that I attended was a speaker that he goes around and speaks to schools, mostly high schools, some colleges, on student leadership, and he has some curriculum that we might look at incorporating with either our team leaders from our sports teams or our team up group. We'll have to look at that. We did get, if you remember a while ago, we had a resolution for our State High School League Foundation grant. And we did get money from the State High School League, $3,700, so we perhaps could use that for some of that curriculum too, and that does keep our team up program going. So are there any questions for me?
Okay, thanks, Max. Down to building and grounds.
Yes, starting to get bids and quotes ready for some of the summer projects we have. We did get a couple bids for tennis court, crack filling and recoating. One came in at $15,800, one at $13,600. We have $14,000 in our 5-year plan allotted for that. We got another 100 lockers here at the high school are gonna get refinished. I've got Haynes working on, we're gonna relamp the big gym at the elementary school. It now currently has metal halide lamps in. We're gonna put fluorescent lighting in, and that'll be the last gym that we have left to do. Also looking at replacing some of the carpeted rooms in both schools with tile floors. And we do have another fellow working with us. His name is Jim Root. He works through a program called Experience Works, and it's more or less a program that helps them gain experience to find a job out in the community within 6 months to a year. we've worked through that program before. Lou had one that was here, what,
Big year,
8 years? So, other than that, that's all I have right now.
Thank you. District-wide technology.
We met on April 5th. Primary purpose of the meeting was to review that additional bid, which a bid wasn't put in, so we just moved ahead with our previous 2 quotes that we received. 3-year plan that goes to the Minnesota Department of Education. That's an ongoing project. Todd's going to be able to bring that to the next technology meeting. We're getting close to getting that finalized to be submitted. We talked about the responsible use policy, which we discussed tonight. Purchase of the computers, which we also discussed tonight. And help for Jim unpacking the computers. And at this point, Jonah is going to work with Jim Decker on that. I think they've got a time not to exceed 50 hours, and he's going to be paid minimum wage. And this is if it's during the summer, but if it's during school time, he will not be paid for that. And that was all we talked about.
Okay. Adam, report.
We met today, went through the board agenda, did not have any formal registration or web request. Reminded them about our doghouse news, keep submitting articles, evaluation. Number 5, we looked at Albany combines their community ed brochure with the district-wide newsletter. So we're kind of exploring that with Matt to see if we can combine those and save some costs. And just 4 times a year, we do ours 4 times a year. Might be able to reduce our costs and get one big brochure out that's got everything. So we're exploring that. Had some information for the principals from the Board of Teaching on new teachers coming out. Severe Weather Week is April 16th to the 20th next week. We'll be joining the statewide tornado drill. Information in your packet, the enrollment report for up to received a new 3rd grader from Elk River, 4th grader from Madison, and we've got a 10th grader back part-time and lost a 7th grader to the ALC. The PAWS newsletter is in there, copy of the 5-year plan, which was approved at our last board meeting. Board Care Club, Gretchen dropped off in your packet there. It looks like we are down to $2.93. And Gretchen, do you want to speak to that, or?
No, it's self-explanatory.
I believe the board going to 50 in the district office. So, next board meeting, we're going to help replenish that fund, and she's got a recap of all the things on the backside there, what happened, and I'll explain what she did for taking care of that for us. EMPA Spring Banquet is set for May 4th. We should have an indication, lavender or purple. Looks like it's May 4th at roadside. Social hour begins at 6 o'clock and supper at 7. And then Bill Brand brought in some referendum information for Montevideo. I just included that in the packet as well. Upcoming dates, Thursday we got district-wide staff development, 3:30 in the Landers room out here. Friday this evening in the cities. Monday the 23rd we have food service and custodial negotiations for Bob, Mark, and Deb. And then our next board meeting is right back here on the 24th. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. I think Bob was going to give us the update on our superintendent search.
This is an update on where we're at with the superintendent hiring process. The board was adamant at the beginning that this was going to be a real transparent process. Started in February with the board, community, and staff, meeting with Greg Vandell, working with, looking at attributes and accomplishments that we wanted to look for. There are 3 teams. There's a board search committee that consists of Deb, Lou, and myself. And there's a staff team also, and a community team. We started with 22 applicants. Each team met at least twice with the resumes and going over the data. Each team compiled a list of 8, and then the board search committee and the leaders of the staff and the community teams met, and we compared prepared our list. And from that, we came up with some semifinalists. And then Greg Vandell started with a detailed credential and reference check. And I started doing reference check with various board members from the districts that the candidates were from. We had 5 finalists, we had 1 withdraw, we now have 4. We're gonna interview on the 18th. It'll be done with 3 different groups. With the 4 finalists instead of 5, we should be done by about 3:30. The administrative negotiating team met today, and we talked about some parameters with a package. Once we decide on a candidate, we'll negotiate a packet that's commensurate with the area and conference salaries. So that's about it. Anybody else have anything to add? Deb or Lou or Dave or?
We talked a little bit about the questions.
Oh, yeah, right. The board search committee, each team started with a list of generic questions that they're gonna tailor with the attributes and accomplishments that we did in February. The board search committee is gonna come up with probably 21 questions for the board. And if the board would like anything specific that they wanna see added, give it to one of us. And we'll hand those out prior to the actual interview date. And we're trying to match those with the attributes and accomplishments that we wanted also. Does that answer your question? Lou or Deb or anybody else?
And I think anybody, can add follow-up questions.
Oh, absolutely.
As things happen, so there'll be a set of questions, we'll go off for guidelines, and then we'll take it from there.
Who are they?
Pardon me?
Who are the 4?
They're in the press tonight.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's, up until the finalists, it is not public information. Once the finalists are determined, it is public information. Jake's got it in the press tonight or tomorrow.
Yep.
The personal data and resumes still fall under the Minnesota Privacy Data Act. So the public cannot go in and see the resumes or the personal information, but there is a short bio with the finalist that'll be in the paper tonight and tomorrow.
Who withdrew, Bob? You talked about?
Susan Burris withdrew. We just found that out, and I should have gotten to you, but I don't think we'd have made the paper.
All right. Yeah, no, we went to press release, so, yeah.
Now,
There's a principal from St. Louis County District.
yeah, give me a moment. Anybody have it handy? I got some,
I've got it here, Bob.
Oh,
One individual, Kevin Abrahamson, currently serves as the elementary principal curriculum coordinator for St. Louis County Public Schools. Robert Hewitt, principal of North Junior High in St. Cloud. Shane Laffin is a principal of the Sleepy Eye District. And Rick Linnell is the superintendent of the Pequot Lakes Public Schools.
We have 1 superintendent and 3 principals.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Is there anything else for the board today? Now, we're going to move, let's see, closed session under Minnesota Statute 13D.95, subdivision 3A to evaluate staff.
We'll adjourn this meeting, and then we'll reconvene here.
Okay.